Do you struggle to keep track of your digital content? Today, I'm giving you easy to implement strategies for organizing and staying on top of it all. Hello, if we haven't met before, my name is Michelle and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. You cringe at the thought of looking for digital files. I think you'll agree with me when I say searching for digital files is very frustrating and it can be potentially very time consuming. So friend, instead of wasting your valuable time searching for digital files, let's instead set aside time for easy digital content organization. Come on, it'll be fun, I promise. Okay, so I just have to say it. What is digital content? So you may be wondering, more than likely, maybe not, but just in case, let's cover what digital content is. All in all, digital content refers to all the content available in a digital format, right? Simple enough, am I right? I'm guessing your mind is rattling off all the different types of digital content that you have in your online business. All the files of articles, images, audio, video, and anything else you may have saved in the cloud. I think you'll agree with me when I say digital content is very, very valuable to your coaching or your online business. It's funny how many coaches and online business owners I've seen struggle to find digital content in their business, to the point that it's one of the biggest challenges that they face when it comes to time consumption. Oftentimes, they didn't anticipate how quickly their business would grow, and having a good process put in place for digital content organization wasn't even a thought. And now, all of a sudden, it becomes a huge problem trying to find digital content without having to search through many poorly named files. That's why it doesn't matter if your online coaching business or your online business is just getting started, having a digital content organization process is essential. Let me give you some strategies for organizing digital content. So there are a few different ways to organize digital content depending on your needs and preferences. Here are a few strategies you might want to consider. Create a filing system. One simple way to organize your digital content is to create a folder structure on your computer. You can create folders for different categories or projects and store your digital content in the appropriate folders. Think of your filing cabinet with this. What would you name a really good folder name? I want you to use tagging or labeling. So tagging or labeling your digital content can make it easier to find and access later. For example, you might tag a photo with relevant keywords such as podcast episode number or client reference, and then the name, so that you can quickly find when you're searching for those terms. I encourage you to use cloud storage because cloud storage services such as Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive allow you to store and organize your digital content in the cloud, which means you can access it from any device with an internet connection. How convenient is that? I'm also going to encourage you to use a note-taking app. No worries, if you like to write on paper, go ahead and do that because it will be a great summary in your mind as you go ahead and take those notes from paper and put them into a note-taking app. Note-taking apps such as Evernote, OneNote, and Notion, and this is the one that I use personally in my business and for all of my personal notes as well. A note taking app gives you the benefit of being able to create and organize notes, lists, and other digital content in one single place. These apps often include features such as tagging, searching, and the ability to attach files and links to your notes. Oh, if you're not already, here's another thing I'd like you to consider doing. Use a task management system such as Asana to keep track of digital files that are related to your projects. Here are some tips for organizing your digital content. Create a folder structure. So create a hierarchy of all the folders to organize your files. For example, you could create a lead generation folder for all your lead magnets, your blog posts, and your podcasts. And then you can just create a subfolder for every different document and digital media within that main folder. If that's not clear, here's an example of a lead generation foldering system. Your lead generation is your top folder. And underneath that folder, you have another subfolder called lead magnet. Under your lead magnet, you have another folder that contains all of the documents and media that goes along with that one particular lead magnet. Back up to that lead generation folder, and we're going to create another subfolder, and we're going to name this one core content. And inside that core content folder, that's going to be where you have a subfolder for your blog, your podcast, your videos, whatever are the different pieces of your core content. Now, I do want to say, if your blog and your podcast, or your blog and your video are the same information and released in the same week, go ahead and keep that all in the same folder. And you're going to want to create a subfolder in there for each podcast episode and for each different blog post. Okay, back up to that lead generation folder again. Let's go ahead and create one for social media. And under social media, here are a few ideas for subfolders that I personally use in my business. One is I have an image bank. So all of the different images, I just dump into one area. That way when I'm in Canva, I can go through and search by those different images. Just make sure you have a really good process for naming the files. For example, if you use different planners or computers in your imagery, go ahead and make sure you put in computer, planner, coffee, whatever is that main piece of that image in the title so they're easy to search for. Okay, let's back up again now into that lead generation folder. And the next one is going to be your content planning. So this will be where you keep all of your content calendars, all your different pieces that you have in your digital files for your content planning. Back up to that lead generation folder. Here are 3 more folders for you to create: website, advertising, and testimonials. I briefly talked about this before, but make sure you use descriptive and consistent file names. You want to make sure that your file names actually accurately represent the content for your files. And this will make it easier to find specific files when you need them. Here is an example of a naming system that you can use. So remember our podcast that we talked about before? Well, you can go ahead and name that with EP001 keyword. So what that actually means, it's the episode number and what is the keyword that's the primary topic of that episode. This is one that I actually use in my business, and it's for my core content. And that is CC-23-01 and the keyword. So what does that actually mean? So CC equals core content. 23 equals the year it was published. 01 equals the week it was published. And keyword, this is the target keyword for that particular post. So I talked before about using tags and labels. And you use tags or labels to label your files with different keywords or categories. This, I promise, will make it easier to search for and find specific files later on. And I label like this: LG equals lead generation, CC equals core content, YT equals YouTube content, CP, well, that equals my content planning. Okay, so this is essential as well to a good digital planning system, and that's making sure you schedule regular review and cleanup. I'm not kidding. You need to review your digital content and delete any unnecessary or outdated files. This will help you keep your digital space organized and reduce clutter. Okay, let me pause. If you are so worried about deleting anything, go ahead and just create archive folders and then dump things into that folder. And then know if you ever go into that folder in the next year. Here's a great example. Let's say you want to look at archiving all of your work from 2021. So you would create a folder that said Archive 2021. If you ever went into that Archive 2021 folder during the current year to search for something or find something, I would pull it out of that archive folder and put it back in my active folders, because I know at that point that it's something that I may need to reference in the future again, potentially. So then a year later, I can go ahead and delete that whole entire folder, because I know without a doubt for one whole year, I never needed any of that information. Or if you want to keep things for longer, you set up your own scheduling system with it. I want you to schedule the cleanup annually. So if you like spring cleaning, do it then. Or if you prefer to clean house at the end of the year, go ahead and put it on your calendar for the last week of the year so that you can start off the new year fresh. I've touched on this before, but I encourage you to use cloud storage. Why I want you to consider using cloud storage to store and access your digital content. This will allow you to access your files from any device and make sharing files so much easier with your team. Different options for cloud storage is Dropbox, Google Drive, or OneDrive. What is great is you can use file synchronization tools as well. File synchronization tools like Dropbox, Google Drive, or OneDrive can help you keep your files organized across multiple different devices. If you want to back up your photos, a great example of this is you can set up your phone to actually back up all your photos automatically to either OneDrive or Google Drive. Maybe Dropbox, but I don't use Dropbox, so I can't tell you for sure. But these tools will automatically sync your files across all your different devices so you can access the latest versions of your files no matter where you are. I know there's a lot to take in, but bear with me. This can be broken down into multiple chunks of time, or you can actually have it outsourced if you have the means for that. Digital files are the backbone of any online business, and a good digital content process is necessary for the sanity of your team. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful week.